Hey guys, what's going on? Jerem Dastrup here with Dental Intelligence, and I'm really excited about today's video. As all of you know, as you've been watching us go through each of these every week, Mickey from Opendental has become a very dear friend of mine. We've spent a lot of time on the phone and on Zoom, and I'm really excited with the content she's going to deliver relative to Opendental software and collections, all the reports that you have at your fingertips, the tools that are there to just increase what that collection amount is, those days of AR, and really bring as much of that revenue into the practice as you possibly can. And we all know that may take a lot of time, especially if you're playing catch up. And I'm really excited, like I said, with what she's going to present today. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it straight over to her and let her dive right into it. Mickey, it's yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Jerem. Hey, guys. So this week, like Jerem said, we're going to focus on collections. So we're going to talk about the reports and how to work some of those reports to make it more efficient for you guys to work on your collections. So we're going to start by taking a look at 6 to 7 reports: our outstanding claims report, our patient portion uncollected, the aging of AR and our insurance aging reports, procedures not billed to insurance, claims not sent, and lastly, we're going to take a look at billing. So let's start with our outstanding claims report. And this is one of 2 reports in the system that you should never ever print. And we talked about our recall report, I think, in our first video. If not, it was the second, but I'm pretty sure it was the first video, that you should never print it. And the outstanding claims report is exactly that same way. There is way too much functionality in this report for it to be printed. So you can access this by going to Reports, Standard, Monthly Reports, and at the bottom is the Outstanding Claims Report. You can use the filters that I've highlighted or outlined in red at the top to alter the way that this report runs. So you can look at claims over a specific age. You have the option to include your pre-auths, exclude your pre-auths, or only show pre-authorizations. You can do it for specific treating providers. We're going to talk about the for user and the custom tracking statuses here in just a few moments. So we can assign users. So I can take any claims that are highlighted. You do a right click, or you can click the assign user button, and you can assign any user on your system to help with those claims. The nice thing about that is it helps divide the claims. You guys aren't tripping over each other. You don't accidentally have 2 people working on the same claim, because you can literally assign them to each other. When that person logs in, all they need to do is run the report, click the Mine button, and it will show them the claims that have been assigned to them to follow up on. So it helps keep everything nice and super clean. Another reason, and primary reason, why you should never print this report is that if I highlight any line down at the bottom of the screen, it's going to give me all of the carrier information: carrier name, phone number if I've entered it, the group number, group name, but it also gives me the patient's date of birth, the subscriber's name, date of birth, and subscriber ID. That is 90% of the information that you need when you are tracing claims. That's what the carriers ask you for. But we go a step better in that we can set tracking statuses. And to set a tracking status, what that's going to do is that really helps you know what claims you have to follow up on. So you guys know by now, I believe we talked about it with the recall report, that people come off of your recall report when you've contacted them, so you're not tripping over them. Well, that's what tracking statuses do for the outstanding claims report. They literally allow you to pull claims off of this report so that you don't have to see them, you don't have to read the notes, you don't have to look at them until they're due to be followed up on. So to access the status history, you're going to double click on the claim, and we're going to select the status tab. And on the status history tab, we will be able to see all the notes associated with this claim. So we click the add button on the status history tab to enter new notes. On this screen that pops up, we would then use that drop down and we would select one of the status histories that we've created, and we're going to talk about how to create those here in just a few moments. And then we're going to be able to type our notes. The nice thing about this is it date and time stamps it for you. So if I have to call back to the insurance company in 2 weeks because I still haven't received my check that they've told me they've put in the mail, because insurance companies never do that, I can literally go, well, I talked to Sally on this date at this time, and here's what she told me. You no longer have to make comm logs and then also go search through the comm logs to try and find the last time you talked to the insurance company, or what we're most known for, because dental offices love their pieces of paper, that you probably have your outstanding claims report printed. You may or may not have a highlight or color system to determine what's going on. And then I almost guarantee you, you have scribbles on that piece of paper that you have to try and decipher. That all goes away. Everything stays nice and neat and clean. We saved some twigs. Oregon had enough fires this year. We lost enough trees. We don't need to waste any more paper. But it allows you to keep everything nice and neat and organized. And if for some reason you're not the next person to follow up on this, they can see exactly what the last things that have happened. So as we click OK, this is now how we go about setting up those statuses. So we're going to go into Setup and Definitions, and we're going to look for the Claim Custom Tracking. That's these definitions or these statuses that we're going to set. You're going to click the Add button at the bottom of the screen, and you're going to get this Edit Definition window. So you're going to give it a name. So it could be check in the mail, whatever it is that's going to trigger you to know what's happened. And then you're going to select days suppressed. So for example, if I put 14 days in there, it means once the status is set, I won't see that claim for 14 days. If in that 14 days that claim gets paid, yahoo! I'm done. I don't have to worry about anything. And if it isn't paid in those 14 days, on day 15, that claim is back on my report. So I know I have to follow up on it. So that's why setting up these custom tracking statuses is an absolutely amazing thing for you guys to do. It keeps the report manageable, because the outstanding claims report can get overwhelming, especially if you're a busy practice. It can be overwhelming with trying to keep track of everything that's going on and reading your notes. And we really tried to come up with a way to make that easy for you. Next, we're going to talk about one of my favorite reports, which is a patient portion uncollected report. And this report's really going to show you two different things. But we start by accessing it by going to Reports and Standard in the Daily section. And then you can set the date range that you want to look for uncollected patient portions. And this report's really showing us two different things. It's showing us patient portions that weren't collected, or maybe that money was collected, but those procedures were not allocated to. That's super important when you are dealing with offices if you pay your providers or associates on collections. Because if the money isn't allocated to the procedures, the likelihood is those providers are not getting paid correctly. So if you're paying your providers on collections, I do recommend that you run this daily, at worst weekly, to get these corrected, especially before you do payroll, so we can get the allocations corrected so that you're paying your providers correctly. But this is also important as a management tool to check to make sure that your front desk is actually collecting the money that they should be from the patients. So if I see patients on there, and I can go to the accounts and take a look and determine if there is a payment, and if so, did it not get allocated, or did it get allocated to the wrong things? It's just a great way to catch those mistakes before they impact your provider payroll. And providers, we all get a little cranky when our money gets messed with. And this is a great way to help kind of avoid that from happening by just taking a look at this report and working through it on a regular basis. So you guys may not know this, but Opendental actually has two different aging reports. So we have our standard aging of accounts receivable, and then we have our insurance aging. While they show the same things, they do it in different ways. So to access our standard aging report, you just go to reports and standard monthly section, and it's the very top report. And here are the options for running the aging report. So you can run it for aging over specific dates. You can group it by family. Grouping by individual does allow you to see individual patients in the family that do have balances. You can include your patients with negative balances. I tend to run that separately. It helps me identify patterns, but that's me. You could then run it for specific billing types, specific primary providers, and it's really important to note that that has to be the primary provider. All the AR goes to the primary provider. So even if you have secondary providers, you have specialists, all of the AR belongs to the primary provider. And if you have clinics enabled, you can run it for specific clinics. And here's what the typical aging report, I just took a snapshot of the last page out of my test database. So we have our standard 0 to 30, 30 to 60, 61 to 90, and 90 plus with the total AR. We have our write-off estimates, what's outstanding to insurance, and then the total patient AR or estimated patient AR on the very right-hand side. And this is a great snapshot report to give you an idea of what's actually happening. But my preference really is what we call now the insurance aging report. So again, you're going to go to reports in standard, down to the monthly section, use your scroll bar until you get down to the insurance aging report. This has slightly different options than the standard aging of AR. So we can do any balance, we can still group by family, we can do billing types, providers, and or clinics, but we don't have the option to like include or exclude our credit balances. That's automatically included in this report. But what this shows, and what I love about it, is it shows the aging of the insurance balance and the patient balance separately. So if you notice, like after the name column, the first 5 columns is aging your AR for your insurance, outstanding insurance claims. So if you want to report as a management tool to make sure that your claims are being followed up on and what your AR is, you only need to run this report because this is going to give you a snapshot of everything. So I can see right now that in 0 to 30 on the insurance aging, I have $83.40 outstanding. I have $229.20 at 6190 days. I have a really horrible $74,319.05 that's greater than 90 days for a total insurance estimate that's outstanding of $74,701. Now your AR is going to look drastically better than mine because this is my demo database that I took this out of. And I don't follow up on stuff like you do, but it gives you the general idea. But then if I look at the 6th column and going further to the right, I can see my estimated patient balances from 0 to 30, 30 to 60, 60 to 90, 90 plus. I can see the estimated patient balance total, what our write-off changes, and this is depending on how you're looking at your production and income report and how you're looking at your write-offs, and then our estimate of what the patient actually owes. So an amazing snapshot report. You don't have to look at your AR and your outstanding claims report to make sure things are being followed up on. You can see it all in one report, and it'll give you some great information. Next is our procedures not billed report. And this report is fantastic in making sure that we are billing the insurance company for all the procedures we actually did. So we again access it by going to Reports, Standard, and Monthly, or you can access it through the Manage module and the Send Claims window. When we take a look at it, these are all the procedures that Opendental thinks should be on a claim, but are not. So the common typical scenario is that patient is in, back office sets the appointment complete, front office creates a statement, or I'm sorry, a claim, and sends that claim to the insurance company. And the next day, or even later that same day, your dental assistant's like, oh my goodness, we took a PA and I didn't charge that out. So they come back behind and they set complete the PA, but now the front office has no visibility on it. So this is a report that gives us visibility on those items and allows us to make sure that we're getting them billed to the insurance company in a timely manner. What's also great about this report is up at the top, there is a checkbox that says show procedures completed before insurance is added. And I actually find this really amazing. So we all know that the front office of a dental office is very busy. And there are times when you'll have like that walk-in emergency patient who hands you an insurance card, but the back office can get them in right away. So the back office grabs them, they do their stuff. Front office gets, distracted by the other patients walking in and the phone ringing and the insurances they have to verify and the patients checking out. And they don't quite get their insurance added for this patient right away. So patient now checks out and leaves, and the front office is still distracted. Insurance doesn't get added until the next day, but we forget to go back and create the claim. Well, this is going to help us catch some of that stuff. So it's a great report to help us catch those things that might get lost in the system or fall through the cracks. So when I run this report, there are two buttons down at the bottom. There's the option to select all, and there's a new claims option. So I don't even have to go back to the account to create the claims for these things. I literally can hit my select all or highlight the claims I know I'm okay to go with. And then I can click my new claims button. This will automatically create the claims for me and put it in my send claims window. So I don't even have to go back to the account, which I think is fantastic. I can easily go back to the account by just highlighting a single row, right clicking, and it will take me back to the account so that, if it's that PA situation and I haven't sent the claim yet, I can very quickly delete the claim, recreate it with the PA, and then I can be done. Especially, probably more valuable to do it that way if you are paying a per claim charge to your clearinghouse. Next is our claims not sent report. So this report's going to capture all of those claims that we've created, but not yet sent to the carrier. So again, we have two ways to access it. So we can access it through Reports, Standard, Monthly, or through Manage Module Send Claims. And when we look at it through Manage Module Send Claims, We will see all the primary claims or all the claims in a waiting to send status through send claims that haven't been sent, but we're not going to see the secondary claims. So to see any additional claims, we do need to access the reports by going through report standard and the monthly section, and then selecting our claims not sent report. Typically, all we would expect to see on this report are primary claims from today or yesterday, depending on your practice flow. And then we would expect to see secondary or other claims on here as well. So that's where we see that other status. That could be a tertiary claim. It could be a medical claim. It's a non-standard, non-primary or secondary claim. And this is a great snapshot. What I train offices to use this report for is really twofold. One, why is the claim still sitting here? So if I have a secondary claim that's 6 months old, why is that secondary claim still sitting here? Well, did I get the primary payment and forget to send the secondary claim? Or have I not received the primary claim, and why not? Because now I've got 2 claims that are outstanding on this patient's account. So that's what I really look at this report for, but also to make sure that my claims are going out the door in a timely manner. If I see a primary claim that's been sitting here, like in my system, sitting here since March and April, I'm wondering what's going on and why are we not getting these claims out the door in a timely fashion so that you can collect your money and take on paychecks. So these reports that I'm showing you are literally just ways to make sure you're getting your claims out the door and that you're collecting your money from your patients. Lastly, we're going to talk about billing. Sending statements, every front desk person's least favorite part of their job. None of us like it, but it's a necessary evil. So we can access the billing options by going into the Manage module and selecting the Billing button up at the top. And this allows us to set up our defaults for billing. So once we get these set up, they're set up every other time we come into this report. We do not have to reset these every time. A lot of confusion kind of comes around that very first option, which is include anyone, not billed since. And it always defaults 1 month prior to today because it's assuming you're doing your billing on the same day every month. And what it's trying to do is exclude anybody that's received a statement in the last 30 days so we're not overbilling our patient. If your date is not super consistent, but you want to make sure you're encompassing everybody, just change that date to be the date you last sent out your statements, and then we'll pick everybody up that's actually due for statements. We can set dunning messages or messages to go out automatically on the bills, depending on like the age of the account, or we can just send out general messages like happy holiday, or please contact our office to inquire about our new teeth whitening procedure. Whatever it is, whatever kind of message you want to get out to your patients can be set up to go out through here. Once we click OK on that window, it actually generates our billing list. So this billing list allows you to actually edit individual statements. So to edit the individual statement, all I need to do is double click on it and it will bring up our statement window. From here, we can add a note or a bold note. We can change the date range on the statements, or we can choose to delete the statement if it's not appropriate to send it to the patient. So by date range, I mean the date range at the top. By default, in the billing window, you'll set up the age or how much detail you want to print on the statement. Everything before that earliest date or the start date will just show us a balance forward. So if you've got patients that are super particular and they want to see everything back to the last zero balance, you can use the checkbox right below the date range that says show all transactions since the family's last zero balance. If you are sending out your end of the year, or patients call you at the end of the year wanting information for taxes or for their FSA or HSA account on how much that was spent in your office during the year, this is also how you would generate this, just through the patient's account. From here, I can write a note or a bold note. Bold notes, if you have a color printer, will actually print in red on the statement, and it prints in 2 spots. If you don't have a color printer, it still prints in bold, just in black, but it still prints in 2 spots on the statement to help draw attention to the situation, and the note box just prints in a single line. If I've decided that I've reviewed the account, I don't really want to send this patient a statement, if I click the delete button, it does remove them from this statement cycle. So once I've reviewed all of my statements, I've made sure that this is what I want to send out. I do have the option to select all in the lower left-hand corner. Don't know my left from my right. And then I can click the send button. So whatever is highlighted is what it's going to try to send. When I click the send button, it's going to do one of 3 actions depending on what we have set up. So if you are printing statements in your office, it will then send all of these to a PDF, and you will print your statements from that PDF. If your mode is set to electronic, that means you send your statements to your clearinghouse, and your clearinghouse is printing and mailing them for you. Or if you have your mode set to email, it will go ahead and generate the email and email your patients your statements. There is a little bit of setup with that email piece, so if that is something you're interested in, absolutely, let's give support a call and we can help you get that set up. So again, today, guys, we've talked about kind of the 6 or 7 reports or 6 or 7 things to do in Opendental to make sure that you are collecting everything that you're owed. So we took a look at our outstanding claims report, our patient portion uncollected, our 2 different aging reports, procedures not billed, claims not sent, and finally we looked at how to send the statements. As always, Opendental's here to support you, so if you have questions, we can be reached by phone at 503-363-5432. You can email us at support@opendental.com. We do have a chat option by just going to our website and the contact page. And we're here Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 5:25 p.m. Pacific time, 5 to 5 on Fridays, 7 to 3 on Saturdays, and 7 to 11 on Sundays.
Well, Mickey, thank you so much. And I think you do know your left from your right. I'm just going to throw that out there, but I'm pretty sure that you do. No, but in all seriousness, thank you so much. It's one thing to always be talking about the patient experience and making sure that the patient care is there and that we're aware of their needs, and that drives the business. However, we can do that all day long, and if we haven't identified the right systems or understand the best way to utilize the information that all of you have at your fingertips using Opendental, then you got to be able to collect that money and those services that have been rendered. And you've done a phenomenal job taking us through some of those tools Opendental offers to help these practices collect as much as they possibly can. So we love your philosophy, we love your training, and we love Opendental. So Mickey, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks, Jerem.
Yep, absolutely. And for all of you viewers, keep coming back. We're going to do our very best to provide a lot of training each and every day, each and every week, just to add value, just to add perspective to you as a dental professional. And we know that once again, Opendental is a massive practice management software that are doing some pretty incredible things. And we just appreciate everything that they do. So to all of you dental professionals, thank you so very much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you on our next video. Thanks. Bye.